All right, guys, tonight you're supposed to finish this homework assignment. It's 2 pages front and back. The first eight is basically solving for the variable, uh, doing inverse operations. Uh, so, got to pay attention to what is given. Anytime we have letters, variables side by side, that's indicating multiplication. So, the inverse or the opposite of multiplication is division. So, on number one here, because we have d equals 2r, and we're trying to solve for, and I'm just going to highlight the variable. So we're trying to solve for the R right here is what we're trying to isolate. We would need to do that by undoing the multiplication with that coefficient of 2. So you have to divide both sides by 2. That's going to cancel the 2, and now d over 2 equals r. So anything side by side showing multiplication, so the opposite would be division. Now, on a problem like number 2 here, because we're solving for d, and d is on top of the fraction here, fraction is indicating division because this equation reads s equals 2d divided by this little line here showing division by t. So we need to first undo the division by doing multiplication by the variable t on both sides. So what's happening here is this t cancels, and we have TS equals 2D. And now we can isolate the D by dividing both sides by 2. So you can have TS over 2 equals D, or you can write ST over 2 equals D. They mean the same thing, okay? The order of the letters, I'm not going to take off or something like that, okay? So the rest is dealing with multiplication, do the inverse. Then we have another division right here, number 7. And then 8, it's dealing with whenever we have a fraction, that 1/3, we need to undo that fraction. To undo that first, you would have to multiply by the reciprocal on both sides. So when I do that, our fractions here get canceled. This now becomes 3v equals pi r squared h. And since we're trying to isolate the h, solve for the h, if you have two variables and you're trying to undo this multiplication that's in between them, so those little dots are indicating the multiplication, then I can divide by both variables. I can divide by more than one variable. So this is dividing by pi and the rh, pi and the r. I said rh, sorry, r squared. And so those variables cancel, and our h is equal to 3v over pi radius square, r squared. Okay. Then the remaining is doing our word problems. Okay. Remember, you have to follow the 3 steps. Your let statements define your variable. Here, we're going to let x equal the smaller number. If we have two numbers, that's how we start those. And then in this first sentence, the larger of the two number is 12 more than the smaller. So that means the larger number is the x plus 12. So there's our let statement. Now we have to write an equation showing that the sum of the two numbers is 74. So the two numbers here is the smaller number plus the larger number. Sorry about the writing there. That's going to give the 74. So some of you went straight to the substitution. That's fine. So x plus the x plus 12 equals the 74. And now we're solving, by combining like terms, we got 2x plus 12 equals 74. So just need you to finish that. So you have some more on the back, some more numbers on number 10. The 11, this has been the most question that I got yesterday, and then probably today too in tutorials, is understanding that because we're not talking about two numbers, you still have to see the comparison in this first sentence. It says right here, there are 10 less trumpets than saxophones. So our let statement should be let the x be the saxophones, because that's our unknown in that first statement. And then your trumpets, if there's 10 less, then that would be x minus 10. So there's our let statement. And Here's where most questions came, because this is the number of saxophones is. Saxophone is X. Is, anytime I see that word, is equals. And then it says right here, 3 times the number of trumpets. Times that word phrase is a parenthesis word. And since it says it's 3 times, we have 3 parentheses. And it would be the number of trumpets. This represents the number of trumpets, X minus 10. Now you're just distributing and solving for X. 12 is now when we get into perimeter, okay? And our let statements for perimeter problems was let X be the width, and then your length would apply to the first sentence. Right here it says 4 centimeters more than twice the width. Twice the width would be 2x, 4 more would be that. 2x plus 4. And then here you have to use the formula for perimeter. Capital P, which is for perimeter, equals 2L, 2 times the length, plus 2W, 2 times the width. And we know the perimeter is 86, so we have to do 2 times the length, and our length was this 2x plus 4 plus, and this would just be 2x. Substitute the x for W. And then you're solving, okay? And then we talked about consecutive numbers. If I'm doing consecutive numbers, x is the first number, and then x plus 1 is the next number. But if I'm talking about consecutive odd, x is the first number, and x plus 2 is the second number. Okay, so this is kind of like part of your x statements, let statements, excuse me. So if I'm doing sum, it would be x plus, because we're talking about sum right here, so plus the x plus 1 equals 115. So I need you to get these. Like I said, you're going to have some problems similar to this in class, online, practice. Thanks.